Here we go, PFC fight fans, bringing another fight out to you right here, right now. First, it's another girl fight, ladies and gentlemen. Making her way to the blue corner, this is Melissa Karagianis.
A lot of people in Windsor are pretty excited about this fight.
Yeah, really exciting to have, Randy Field stepping up, facing a tough fighter. And so, I mean, as I said, always watching girls fight, it just has a different, energy about it. So it's really exciting. Melissa on her way out.
Yeah. She's been around, man. She's fought in Japan. She was a King of the Cage champion at 105 pounds. She is a real fighter. But yeah, it's interesting. Definitely women fight with a different intensity. And it's different now if you were a 19-year-old learning to fight or becoming a professional fighter. But even when you were fighting and 15 years ago, it's hard enough to become a fighter. You have to go into the gym, push yourself. But women weren't treated properly. They weren't welcomed necessarily properly. People tried to bully you or to discourage you. Your family would have wondered what you were doing. It takes a special person to fight, but it's that much more, and it always traditionally has been, that much more challenging for a female human to fight than a male human.
Well, guys are always bigger, stronger, faster. That's why, because you're always the underdog, right? So you can be a male and be the top dog in the gym, but as a woman, you're not going to be that. So you're fighting to prove yourself every single time, and you're always being challenged. So it's a big difference. Melissa coming in here, 12 years old, she started in Taekwondo, second-degree black belt as well. So coming in with a lot of experience, and for a long period of time, it's interesting how long it takes to get good at something. Because you notice, like, you and I were talking before, do you ever think about fighting? We both were like, every time. Because you have so much knowledge. You've been doing this for so long. And I mean, when you have someone who starts really young, I mean, I think that has an impact when you put in those years. I mean, she's 31 now, so she's been doing this for over half of her life.
Longer than she hasn't. Yeah,
yes,
that's right. Yeah, this is a great little matchup and a really tough opponent for her, and good on her at home taking on a traveled veteran like Melissa, or like Melissa, yes.
And her opponent making her way out to the red corner, this is Randi Field.
Now, Randi, the thing about her is she's so tough and she's so gritty that she's got a lot of talent, but that's also matched with her intensity. So that's what's really interesting about watching her. She'll come out strong, and she's coming in walking around 135 versus Melissa, who's 122. And you're gonna see she's just stacked with muscles too. I mean, that's the difference too with Randi coming out here, and you're gonna see the size difference play out as well now that she's all rehydrated.
When you are the better athlete and you're confident that you're the better athlete, you have this knowledge in your mind that the fight will get easier as it goes on, because your opponent will tire more than you, right? You're the superior athlete. You can wear them out. You can hear it in their breathing. You can see it in their posture. So you can always have that in the back of your mind that if this isn't going well, that's okay. We just have to keep working and it'll get better for me. And so she's going to have that knowledge in her mind to go with the grit you're talking about.
Yeah, especially when you use your weight effectively. Some people just know how to distribute their weight so well that, they're heavier, but they're even extra heavier because of the way they use their weight. It's like putting something behind your punches, sitting on your punches or something like that. But both these guys coming in looking for that win, and right now, Melissa's pro record, 5-3 out of Muay Thai fights, 14-2, coming in with a ton of experience. Randi undefeated as an MMA fighter at 1-0. So you're kind of looking at Melissa coming in with more experience, but Randi coming in with, kind of that extra, the weight that she is.
Yeah, if Randi was significantly smaller, this would be a bit of a dicey matchup, because she's facing somebody way more way more experienced, who's been around more, who's got, more comfort in here. But Randi will have such a athletic and physical advantage that she hopes that that's the great evener here, right? And it very well could be.
A lot of pressure for Randi again coming into she also has clients. I mean, there's so many people here. That was just a lot of extra pressure on her coming out into the cage for her second professional fight. And her daughter, Ashlyn, who she always wants to make mention of, you know, that she's done an amazing job with.
Here we go, PFC Windsor fight fans. The following contest is scheduled for 3 rounds in the women's strawweight division. Being brought to you by Spatafora Insurance Services, Padron Barbershop, and Carlissimo Steel. Introducing your fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks. Standing 5 feet 3 inches tall, she weighed in at 116 pounds. She's a Muay Thai practitioner representing 6 MMA. She comes to the PFC cage with a record of 3 wins and 5 losses. Fighting out of and representing Toronto, Ontario, ladies and gentlemen, here is Melissa Magic Karagianis. Her opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, also wearing black trunks. Standing 5 feet 3 inches tall, she weighed in at 115.6 pounds. She's a freestyle mixed martial artist representing Michigan Top Team. She comes to the PFC cage undefeated with a record of 1 win and no losses, with that 1 big win coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Southfield, Michigan, by way of Windsor, Ontario, ladies and gentlemen, here is Randi Field. Referee Patrick Goulart with final fight instruction.
Randy's intense. But
We
it's
went over
real
everything in the back.
intense.
Listen to my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. If you want to touch gloves, do so now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this PFC women's strawweight competition will be decided in 3 rounds or less.
All right, so Melissa Karagianis is in the blue corner. Both girls with kind of cheetah print. She's got the gray trunks, and Randy Field out of the red corner. And a big jab down the pipe from Melissa, but Randy just kind of took it and moved on. And you know, got a little concerned about the stand-up battle. I don't think she needed to, but you know, it's early on, and it pushes her up against the cage where she knows she's got that strength.
Yeah, and this will matter over time. If we both dance around and punch each other, maybe that'll go well for me. But if I make you carry me when I'm the bigger fighter, I make you resist my strength and weight, that will be to the benefit later for Randy, like I was saying, where the fight gets easier for the better athlete.
Randy getting caught a little bit with the head kick too,
Yeah.
but I think, you know, she's started to get her head out of the center too.
Yeah, Randy took that shin to the chin and then kept coming forward. So you're hearing Melissa's corner asking her to relax, and that's really good advice, man. When you've got a ferocious athlete pushing you, if you keep pushing back, you fatigue. If you settle in and use a bit of a philosophy of non-resistance for a little bit, you can make her wear herself down.
Yeah, she reversed the position for a minute, but Randy was able to turn things back around. And I think this is where, you know, Randy feels most comfortable right now. She's got a lot of stand-up and ground, so I think, but for her, because she got clipped a couple of times, feels a little bit more secure here.
Man, a shin bone to the chin, like that's no messing around, you know. And if you can move here, if there's any buzzing or ringing or slight difference in how you're experiencing the moment from the impact, any neurological impact, you can take your time here, settle into it. So you also kind of access that freedom and that flow state when you're a few more minutes into the fight, and that's easier to get to here.
You know, achieved the underhook quickly, and I think that helped her in reversing the position. And she's doing a good job strategically of putting herself back in this position each time.
Randy's using way more energy. We talked about being the better athlete and how that can make the fight easier for you later.
Now Randy's doing a good job of getting her head out of center when she throws her shots, because she's been hit by a couple of jabs. she's going to body if she finishes upstairs, but now you're seeing Melissa trying to close the gap because she was hit with a couple of shots.
And Melissa doing that 1 or 2 times will make Randi more aware of that threat. And so that's what the veteran, and Melissa won big fights in King of the Cage. She's fought big fights against great fighters. And you see how experienced she is, putting different cards into the game, you know?
You know, they're just over halfway, but for them, it probably feels like this is like the third round because they've been working so hard, both of them.
You know, one of the things we were talking about going into it was, if you're the better athlete, the fight can get easier for you when you wear your opponent down. But the experienced Melissa isn't wearing down because she's not exerting hard. In fact, it's Randi who's exerting hard.
Yeah. See, and they're both doing a good job of getting some space and landing some shots. You saw Melissa land a big elbow, Field land a big knee. They're landing those sneaky shots, so you got to be able to follow it up. I mean, at least in the first round, you can get that investment, you can work on them, but if they can follow it up with a few more shots.
Man, you really are seeing, I'm whispering now because I don't like the fighters to hear what we're saying, and they're right in front of us. But you can see just how much energy Randi's using. She's squatting,
the adrenaline and the nervousness.
Yeah. And in front of all her people, like you mentioned, her clients and her family, they're all here. And again, it's you know, you think you're going to go out and intensely attack and overwhelm this person, and Melissa's not going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's a bit of a shock for Randi. She's so used to being stronger than her opponents, and I think, you know, she's kind of met someone that is, you know, strong as well. Two big knees, a big elbow, and following it up with a kick. I mean, that's showing her Taekwondo, you know, background.
Yeah, and modified too, because it's shin now. Like, you know, when you grow up with Taekwondo, you're landing with the foot. She's driving that shin up. Randi took one off the arm too. She blocked it nicely, but that's still bone on bone.
Right.
When we watch at home, we're like, oh, look, the kick was blocked. The kick wasn't blocked. He just got kicked in the arm really hard. Like, it's something that doesn't necessarily translate to the viewers at home. But Kara, like, when you get kicked bone on the small bone of your arm, it's brutal. Sometimes you lose feeling, or you can't use it for a little while.
That's what your good old adrenaline's for. You may not feel it right away.
Right,
you feel it tomorrow.
That's for sure. You know.
Again, just a cage battle for these two. If there's any separation, both of them are throwing, though. There, you know, no shortage of leather being thrown when there's some separation. And you're looking at Melissa driving, you know, Randi to the cage. I think Randi, the second round, maybe she'll settle in a little bit. I think that first round, it was just that nervousness. Sometimes you're so nervous you can't throw, and it's very strange. You almost feel like everything is just frozen up in your body, and you can't. You're telling your body to move, you're telling your hands to throw, your feet to kick, and it's not responding.
And somebody will hear you say that, and they'll think you're speaking metaphorically. But truthfully, you feel physiological inability to work your arms. And I've been in the back room and asked a guy with, you know, Joe Dirksen was his name. He was fighting for his 50th win. And I said, Joe, I can't feel my arms. And he said, that's normal, Robin. This is my 68th fight, and I can't feel my arms either. It's just, these things are not metaphors. These things are not things people just say when they talk about fighting. This is real. You really could, in the gym, express fighting beautifully, and then in a cage find yourself unable to do it. But as you pointed out, this round now, Randi will be more comfortable, but also she's tired, but a great athlete can recover a ton in that minute.
Well, I think they're both athletes coming to the cage, but I think what Randi has to do is just settle down and allow her strikes to be, you know, hands and feet to be put together. It's one of those things, I think it was just kind of that surprise. She's used to manhandling the women that she fights, and having someone else choosing kind of an overhand right, getting her head out of center, just doing a better job, some slip jabs, so that she's not down the pipe like she was earlier, and she's adapted well in that. Melissa uses her jab very well, but she's got to rip it off quicker. Sometimes you wait till the person's in position for you to jab. By that point, it's too late, so you've got to let it go a little bit earlier.
There's something called an archer's paradox, which is when you shoot a bow and arrow, you have to actually aim not exactly at the bullseye. And there's a truth to that when you're punching as well. What your eyes are seeing is really not what you're throwing at.
See, Randi's got to stop waiting. Like, she's standing in front of her, you know, almost heavy bag, like, you know, and letting Melissa get off, and she's got to be careful of that.
So the reason Melissa went down there, people might not have seen it, but Randi just torqued a knee into her soft body, into the tissue, the soft tissue of the body, and that was the difference in her being able to take her down for that moment. she's fighting and trying and grappling. Hurt her and then grapple her. And that's what she's doing now.
And Randi keeps grinding, you know, getting her up against the cage, but this is where she's going to have to do a little bit more work. Drags her to the ground. And we'll see if she can utilize this position at all.
Okay, 3.5 minutes is a long time now. The fight has changed dramatically now because Melissa also has closed her guard. So let's look at the simplicity of where her feet are right now. They're crossed. Why is that? Well, to hold her there. If you want to stand up, Kara, what do you got to do?
Stalemate.
Yeah, but look where her feet are.
Yeah.
You know what the first thing about standing up is? My feet have to be on the ground, right? So when you see a closed guard like that, generally she's going to attack something.
Just climb up.
Yeah, she's trying to attack the armbar. But what you know is she's not trying to stand up. But sadly, if you're Randi, she didn't want to stand up. She wanted to submit you.
Well, Randi has to be careful. She should keep, you know, we got to keep her stacked. Don't try it. Sometimes when you raise up, I mean, that's when they sink it in. So she's got to be very strategic
She wants to slam her, and that may not be the best idea. See that little white mitt that you're seeing under Randi's chin? That's her left hand. And her left hand is trying to control her right arm to prevent it. She, I think, wants to slam her opponent. But that's a dicey proposition. What you want to do is just sweep this leg off your face. Oh, she's in trouble. No. There. See how she swept the leg off her face? Now she's good. So and now she's in half guard. So it's about flattening the left hip and the right shoulder now. If you do that, you got somebody flat on their, now, but see, it's not there. The right shoulder's off the ground. Now she's dealing with the right shoulder.
Yeah, she's got to be careful she's not giving Melissa an out. She's got to get a little bit of position and start throwing some shots, you know, just to kind of soften her up a bit, just to get her aware of, so she's not looking for an escape.
She's trying to, like, get that arm across. Watch the right shoulder of Randi. Her right shoulder is squeezing the neck, and she wants to pop up the right arm of Melissa. So, but you're right, she's pinning her. That's great. If it was wrestling, we'd be pinning her. It's not. It's fighting. We have to hurt her, or we have to submit her, or we have to advance this position.
Yeah, and I think even just trying to get a hand free and do a little bit of damage, that might help out when you're trying to obtain a new position.
Yeah, we talked about this tonight. The job isn't to win the round. The job is to make 2 of the 3 human beings watching it think you won a round, right? Randi very well could be winning this round. Because earlier in the fight, she got kicked, she got punched a few times, but these are humans. You know, that's a long time ago. That's 4 minutes ago. So they may just be seeing this round as a round where Randi's
just
on top.
Dominant,
that's
just
right.
Seeing the dominant position, for sure.
Of course, we want the correct winner to win a round, but that's not, now this isn't, you can actually choke somebody pretty well using the latissimus dorsi, the muscle of your back, to squeeze into the neck. It's not impossible here.
I don't think that's what she's looking for,
Yeah.
though. So I think she's just so focused on position that she's going to run out of time. I mean, she's still been dominant. It's just not as much damage, but she has been dominant this round.
So she was grabbing the chin there, which is a great idea. Wherever you lead somebody's head, the rest of their spine goes, and where the spine goes, the rest of the body goes, right? But she wants to choke her here. And now, so she wants to come up, and she'll use her shin to dig it into the body. There's also what you could be thinking here, but there's an anaconda choke setup, but with 10 seconds left, the option would be to knee her and lift her up and knee her in the head. But that's not there now.
You know, Randi doing a good job of not letting Melissa, you know, switch the course the last 10 seconds. But I think, you know, Randi looking more dominant in that round. And again, it goes back to maybe this is what you have to do. You got to come out, you got to find those angles and fire off the angles and maybe close the gap. I think she has to attack quicker for the takedown. Randi's going to have to do that, and Melissa is going to be better off just moving around. She's landing a lot of shots, big shots. She's landed head kicks and things like that.
Yeah, it's a tight fight for sure. I love seeing somebody accept a fight at home against somebody like Melissa. You know, good on both of them. The reason it's so tough is because you're facing somebody that you can't just barrel over. You can't just use your strength. You know, Melissa has more experience. She has a ton of skills. She's got a lot of complex skills you've got to overcome.
Well, and you can see it when they're up against the cage, because any opportunity she has to create space, that Muay Thai background comes in, you start seeing the elbows, you start seeing the knees from Melissa. So that's where Randi's got to get her to the ground relatively quickly.
Yeah, and if I'm Melissa and I'm her team, I'm moving my feet. I'm circling around. You know this this little bulldog is coming towards you. Move your feet a lot. You don't have to land big shots in the first minute. Just move your feet a ton. Touch her up a little
you
bit.
let someone run into it, right? So Randy Field out of the red corner, and the purple hair is Melissa Karagianis out of the blue corner. What's the easiest way? They're both wearing cheetah.
Yeah, that's right.
See, that's some Muay Thai clinching, you know, and she's getting the knees. So she goes outside, inside. She mixes up where her punches come from, and that's why it's very difficult to defend against. And Randy just deciding, I'm just going to come forward and I'm going to loop some shots so I can get close.
I like Melissa, man. I'm like, hey, you can start in that first minute. You don't have to do much. You can move. Now Melissa's like, nah, I'm going to throw shots, punches,
but I really think Muay Thai gives you that confidence to stand in front of someone and just let punches rain, knees, elbows, everything else.
You see the way she came chopping in with that straight elbow? I mean, Melissa's having a great fight here.
Yeah. You know, Randy's adapted really well, trying to get her head on center, but here we go with the, you know, more of a tie clinch we're seeing from Melissa.
So she's framing with her right forearm. It's gone now. Randy's where she wants to be, what you want, and this is part of the challenge for her because she has less experience. She's using more energy. She's using more power to try to get these takedowns.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that she has to do is drag her down. She's got to, like, just use that, just like that, kind of just get it. Opportunity to drag her to the ground and start working again.
Watch for a right knee here. There's a right knee chance coming up. It's not there. Oh,
she has that drag to the ground, and this is where she's got to get to work, because if she stays here for the rest of this round, she starts to do some damage, she could have, like, that she'll have this fight.
Yes, she could, because that's, if she won the last round, that's how she won it. Same time, we got 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. You stay on top for 3:30, do what you can do, and you should be able to win these 2 rounds. And it's a hard way to win a fight, man. It's a hard way to win a fight.
And again, mentally, both these women super tough. But you know, Randi Field very, you know, hip heavy. She's top heavy.
Yeah.
And if she can keep her down here and get to work.
No, she's going to get reversed here. Yeah. So there's a choke. That choke is real now, right? What she wants is her hips lower. She lowered her hips. If your hips are high there, you can be in trouble. So she'll be out now. Randy's going to try to choke her. Yep. So again, Melissa wants to drop her hips below the height of her head, and she's looking to do that. She wants to take Randi down now, and I think it's a brilliant strategy. Because if Randi ended up on her back, you'd be in a real good position to win this fight.
And just kind of the patience, Randi looking for, you know, that choke. I just don't think it's there just because of the body position of Melissa. And maybe the experience level. We'll see if she can seal it off.
So what she wants to do now is grab her hand and then, so see Melissa was holding her elbow. I was just about to say, wrap her elbow up high over the shoulder. And Melissa's keeping her elbow low there. Melissa understands fully the threat.
But again, Randi, you know, looking like, you know, the dominant position. So, you know, if she won that second round, which we think she did, she can secure this. Minute 45 left. If she can do some damage, I mean, it's to her advantage. Whereas Melissa really has to separate and start throwing their hands and feet again.
But again, you know, these judges are just humans, and they're working with what they know. So if they don't see this threat as real, what they're watching is Melissa putting Randi where she wants her. And they're not necessarily wrong, right? So Melissa wants to hook that leg and just literally take her right hand and put it on the right ankle or foot. And Randi took a lot of punches, elbows, and kicks in this fight. Uh-oh. When her feet are close together, that's where she's in trouble. I like that order from Melissa's corner. Hips in, head up. It's exactly what you want to do here.
Yeah, oftentimes when you're in these positions, you just don't know how much trouble you're in, right? You're more concerned about defense and getting out of this position than anything else.
If Melissa gets free of this, Randi's arms are not going to work very well, right? So she'll have a chance to punch, kick, elbow, knee.
But I mean, look at this, 37 seconds, we're already here. And like you said, the perspective, right, of the judges. Do they see it as, you know, Melissa pressing on, you know, and holding Randi up against the cage, or are they recognizing the potential choke?
Truthfully, the correct judging is Randi is winning this one.
For sure.
Because she is applying, it's through her threat that this position exists. And she's really going for it. She's really, really going for it. She's not stalling.
No.
Like, she could get this.
This is good. She keeps working. I mean, this could be her round.
She grabbed the fence there at the end, but it didn't make a difference, right? That's a tricky one. You know, no judgment on the judges.
We already discovered one of the previous fights. You know, we weren't seeing what they're seeing. So who knows what we're going to see in the end of this.
It's true, and all human perspectives are different. They're based on your experience and the knowledge that you have. And without judgment, I mean, no judgment, you only know what you know. And you can only see what you can see. So when we get mad at judges sometimes, whether we're the fighter or the fan or whatever, we get mad at judges, they're just human beings doing things to the best of their ability. And so we're going to find out what they saw here.
All right, and we're seeing the ladies go into the cage. Pete Trevino has to get all the scorecards and announce the winner. Randi Field in the red gloves and Melissa Karagianis in the blue. So we're going to see who came away with this W. I mean, it's an exciting fight. You know, you almost wonder for Randi, she was the bigger fighter in terms of coming into the cage at 135 today, whereas Melissa coming around at 122. But I think a little bit of surprise by the grit of Melissa being able to handle that weight difference. So we'll see how that played out in the judges' scorecards. This place, the roof will blow off if they announce Randi Field. A ton of fans, a ton of supporters here. So let's get the official results from Pete Trevino.
Ladies and gentlemen, put a big round of applause together, please, for both of the ladies in this cage. After 3 rounds of professional mixed martial arts, we go to the judges' scorecards for a split decision. Judge McNeil scores the contest 29-28 for Field. Judge Woods scores the contest 29-28 for Karagianis. And Judge Costello scores the contest 29-28 for your winner by split decision, Randi Field.
That was a great fight. Congratulations, Randi. You look tired. You look like you were in a fight.
Need my paper.
Yeah, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for both those two athletes. That was an excellent fight. Randi, before you get that, listen, you may have 20 more fights in your life, but you're going to be very thankful for this one, because that one was a really, really tough fight that she brought you here tonight.
Absolutely. I was not even expecting it. Congratulations to my opponent. Amazing job. Thank you so much for coming out here.
You can see what a good athlete you are. You're a great athlete, but you had to work really hard in those rounds to get those positions. You got to be exhausted right now.
I have donuts in the back. I'll feel fine after that.
Like I said, you're going to be very thankful for that fight. Most people don't get to test themselves to the level that you just got to test yourself, to know what you're all about in there. Who do you got to thank here tonight?
First, I want to thank you, Windsor, for coming out here and showing support and love. It's always appreciated. I got to thank my team, of course, Michigan Top Team. My boyfriend, Manny Alfaro, who has put hours and hours into this fight camp. I got to thank our sponsors, because we could not do this without them. I had to take a week off of work, and I never would have been able to do that. So I want to thank Redline Inflatables, Albert, and I'm sorry, Sarah Toucan, Realtors, Fred's Farm Fresh, Windsor's Penalty Box, Armando's Pizza, Sterling Mutuals, Alpha Grind, Catch a Muscle. The after party is tonight at Arius for us. We also have Manny and Matt Dawson coming up. You guys are in for another great show. Thank you so much.
Again, please put your hands together. Oh, one more.
Saturday Night's Insomnia. Hope you get your rest.
Please put your hands together for both those two athletes. That was a wonderful fight. Congratulations. Your winner, Randy Fields.
All right, so Randy Field moves to 2-0, undefeated MMA fighter, a tough match. I mean, she's had two tough ones.